He has the worst printing house in the Northeast, but he makes the same amount of money as all the other printing factories in the province, because all the other factories print leaflets, but he prints money directly, and the counterfeits he produces, any printer would applaud. This is the first web series about counterfeit money. At the beginning of the filming, the director tried to be as realistic as possible. He spent all the money on production. In the end, the budget wasn't enough to promote the film. It's been in theaters for 3 years, and no one wants to see it. But it's good that the plot is cool enough. All the veteran actors are good at what they do. The story of a highly intelligent worker at the bottom of the ladder. In the face of destiny. The story of a worker with a high IQ. The story of a lowly worker with a high IQ, who has to win the day in the face of destiny.
让他印1个亿。多少？1个亿。
The guy who prints money is called Tang Song. He's been working in the printing house for 20 years. Every day, he was so tired that his limbs were stiff. But he couldn't pay off his mortgage, until one day a car accident. Tang Song was forced to come to the hospital for a checkup. He then found out, the old problem of stiff limbs is actually the middle and late stage of bone cancer. Back home, he looked at his wife, who was pregnant with his second child, and his daughter who loves music. Because of the family's poverty, he could only use a desktop instead of a piano. He finally made up his mind to get a lot of money quickly. Printing money was the only way out, because he used to work in a banknote printing factory. He knew how to draw, make plates, mix colors and all the processes, although he didn't know how to make paper. But when luck struck, you couldn't stop it. Just after he stepped out of his house, accidentally bumped into the police. They were busting a counterfeit currency trading den. One of the counterfeiters sneaked away. He happened to meet him. Tang Song instantly recognized this guy was his former colleague in the banknote printing factory. Tang Song believed that since his colleague could get in touch with the counterfeiters, he must have access to the paper. So he sneaked into the design room of the printing house. He made a 1:1 model of the banknotes. Then he carved the model into an aluminium plate. Then he started the printing machine to apply the colors. Tang Song gulped nervously until he saw the printed banknotes slowly emerge. His heart immediately settled down, as if a fire was burning. The next day, Tang Song went to his colleague Xia Yan's home and showed him the finished product.
印刷够细，但纸张不行啊。
Tang Song saw that Xia Yan knew what he was talking about. He told him straight away, as long as you can get the paper, we can do it together. I'll be in charge of printing, and you'll be in charge of sales. We'll split the profits half and half. Xia Yan refused without even thinking about it, because the paper used to make the fake super Black Snake has all the paper. Xia Yan told Tang that Black Snake is ruthless. He has several lives on his back. And the customer who traded counterfeit banknotes with Xia Yan that day, Black Snake was the link between them, and the place where the transaction took place, also at Black Snake's shop. In the end, the client was arrested. Only Xia Yan escaped. Black Snake thought Xia Yan is a police mole. Xia Yan didn't dare to see Black Snake. But after all, Lao Tang knew. After all, Lao Tang knew about his dealings in counterfeit money. He was worried about being reported, and he felt sorry for Tang. He had no choice but to take him to meet Black Snake. As soon as Black Snake saw Xia Yan, he hit him without saying a word. Tang Song tried to help, but Black Snake beat him up. He didn't give him a chance to talk. Black Snake got more and more excited, worried about being discovered by passers-by, so he put them in the car. He wanted to beat them until they lost their temper. In the past, Tang Song may be able to bear it, but not anymore. He was kicked off the train by Black Snake. While Black Snake was playing the bull, he closed the door and locked Black Snake up. Then the two of them drove the car. They discussed how to deal with Black Snake. Tang Song suggested to turn on the air conditioning in the car, to freeze Black Snake so much that he can't fight back. But I never thought that the air conditioning had already been switched on. Tang Song accidentally touched it when he got into the car. They opened the door trembling. They found that Black Snake's little brother had frozen to death. And because Black Snake grabbed his brother's clothes, he still has his last breath. Tang Song had no choice. He could only throw his brother's body into the river and save Black Snake's life. He asked him how to get the printing paper. He kidnapped the head of a counterfeiting company. First, he froze him to death in a refrigerated van. Then he tied him up at home. And then they asked him where he kept the paper. They went there at night. They found the paper. These papers can print 7 million in total. Tang Song was in charge of printing, but they didn't have the money to buy a machine. They could only use the printing house where Tang Song worked. At night, when no one is around. Tang needs a day to make the oil foam. He asked Xia Yan to keep an eye on Black Snake at home. But Black Snake is a trickster. First, he used the excuse that his legs were frozen. He let Xia Yan's guard down. Then he coaxed Xia Yan. He untied his hands for him. Then he took advantage of him. He planned to strangle Xia Yan with his belt. But Black Snake's body was too weak. He was killed by Xia Yan in a few strokes. When Tang Song came back, Black Snake was already cold. And Xia Yan, because it was his first time to kill, froze on the ground for a long time. Xia Yan took Black Snake's body to the countryside. He dug a hole and buried it. On the other hand, Tang Song was not idle. He was secretly printing money in the factory. In 2 hours, he printed hundreds of thousands of dollars. The first batch, Tang Song thought the wood wasn't adjusted properly and planned to destroy it and start printing again. What Tang Song said was substandard. It's just that he has higher requirements for his skills, and the quality of this batch of counterfeit banknotes is already better than all the counterfeit banknotes on the market. Better than all the counterfeit banknotes on the market. The fat guy in front of me, he's one of Xia Yan's regular customers. He praised the quality of this batch, so he paid the deposit on the spot. But because Xia Yan was in a hurry, he had to pay in full, so the 600,000 could only be exchanged at 10% of the price. The next day, Xia Yan confidently distributed the money to Tang Song and agreed to make a large batch next week. The plan was to make enough money to pay for his girlfriend's wedding. But plans can't keep up with changes. That night, the manager of the printing factory called Tang Song to the workshop and told him that the factory was not doing well. It was bought by a foreign company. Starting tomorrow, all personnel and assets will be frozen. Tang Song was anxious when he heard that. What's the point of printing without the presses? So he called Xia Yan immediately to discuss a solution. But Xia Yan's phone is dead, because after splitting the money with Tang Song, he couldn't wait to report to his girlfriend. But he found out that he had been blackmailed by his girlfriend. Xia Yan was in a panic. He rushed to his girlfriend's house. He didn't even know he dropped his mobile phone. When Xia Yan arrived to see, his girlfriend had already obeyed his parents' arrangement. She had married a rich old man. Xia Yan's world was completely lost. What did he work so hard for? Now he lost his girlfriend, and he's got a murder on his hands. Xia Yan went to a bar to get drunk, but Tang couldn't reach him. He went to Xia Yan's house alone. He took the printing paper. Then he went back to the printing house and started working all night. He printed as much as he could, but what Tang didn't know was, there was another group of people who were already after him. The template for the note is put into the printing press. Then dozens of technologies are precisely blended with hard work to make a special ink for printing banknotes. Then the ink is spread evenly. As the printing machine rotates, it can print more than 10,000 a minute. Tang Song printed another 900,000 in this batch. He just wanted to make a little money before he died of cancer, to leave his family with a little security. But he didn't know that the partner who sold him the counterfeit notes was already under the control of a bigwig in the counterfeiting syndicate. It turns out that the 600,000 counterfeit banknotes had just hit the market. A guy named Hu Yunghee discovered it. He's had a monopoly on the counterfeit industry for a long time. He couldn't bear the thought of someone else stealing his cake, so he followed the flow of the counterfeit notes. He found Tang Song's partner, Xia Yan. Hu Yunghee is a tough guy. He's even less famous than Lu Huaqiang. Xia Yan didn't dare to hide anything. He can only explain half-truths and half-falsehoods. He borrowed money from Black Snake and couldn't pay it back. Black Snake forced him to sell counterfeit banknotes. Xia Yan didn't want to do it because of the low profit, so he killed Black Snake. He took the remaining counterfeit money and sold it. Hu Jingxi was skeptical, but what Xia Yan didn't expect. Tang Song came to deliver the goods at this time. Xia Yan was dumbfounded, because as long as we can let Hu Jingxi to see the body of the Black Snake with his own eyes, then the dirty water of printing counterfeit banknotes. Black Snake's head. But what's even more surprising, Hu Yunghee was dumbfounded when he saw the new counterfeit banknotes. The quality of the printing is even better than his own. Tang Song knew it was useless to lie, so he confessed that he printed the counterfeit banknotes himself.
我明白了，你杀了黑蛇，然后找到一个合伙人，你们就开始创业了。
他没想干，是我的主意，跟他没关系。
你知不知道，干这种活是要做到要掉脑袋的？
我知道，可我没有办法，我得了绝症，我活不了多长时间了，家里面生活困难，我需要很多钱。
Tang Song's life and needs. It's right up Hu's alley. He's always wanted to make his forging business bigger and stronger. Of course, he couldn't miss an expert like Tang Song. I'll take all your goods, not just this batch. I'll take care of both of you from now on. I won't treat you badly. The three of us are partners. Tang Song agreed immediately. Then he asked Hu Jingxi for a deposit to purchase equipment and raw materials, and agreed to print another 5 million next week. Tang Song thought he was on the right track. So the next day, he went to the provincial hospital to see how he could extend his life and make more money. But the doctor told him his condition wasn't cancer, but a very rare thyroid disease. The symptoms are very similar to bone cancer. It's easy for small hospitals to make a mistake due to lack of experience. Tang Song is happy to know he's fine, but he's been dumping bodies and printing money. He even contacted a crime syndicate outside the country. His life has been ruined. At this time, Tang Song did not realize Hu Jingxi's cooperation. There's no turning back, and he was very interested in his money printing skills. Has decided to take Tang Song directly across the border. To take Tang Song across the border.
这个小子这手绝活留在这里太可惜了。
The above is from the Netflix drama released in 2019, The End of the Counterfeiters. The plot has ups and downs. The portrayal of some human nature is also complete, especially the male lead, the way he handles the crisis. It's just too good to be true. If you're interested, go and read it. It's sure to refresh your perception of honest people.